In the latest Conservative home polling, Liz Truss tops their table of favourite members of the UK government. And folks, I reckon it's not hard to see why. I'm Darren Grimes for Recent UK. So despite the fact that Liz Truss backed Remain in the 2016 referendum, so much so that she was next to George Osborne as he announced his punishment budget if we dared vote for independence against the wishes of our betters, she rejected that guff as soon as the vote was in and has fiercely stood up for our freedom and liberty against those who sought to silence our vote and our voice. And as International Trade Secretary, she's been a fierce champion of global Britain, and is truly a credit to her party and her country for doing so. This week she signed a trade agreement with Mexico, meaning that we now have agreed 58 deals around the world covering trade worth £198 billion. So that's 58 separate countries. No country has ever moved so fast to negotiate so many deals simultaneously. A cracking achievement. And today she gave a speech at the think tank, the Centre for Policy Studies, in which she outlined a pivot away from quotas, targets, woke unconscious bias training and diversity statements to instead improve equality and dismiss them all as tools of the left that do nothing to fix systems. And folks, she's absolutely right. This is a country that's largely blind to colour, and far from uniting us, unconscious bias training and those other forms of pernicious left-leaning virtue signalling seek to ask us to place people in identity-based boxes, to view human beings as groups as opposed to individuals, and deny people of their dignity and their agency. And she's absolutely right to do so. It's fantastic to finally see a Conservative government without hesitation state that what we need to do is actually go for evidence-based policy and not identity-based politics. So ideas of renaming street names, for example, like we saw in Birmingham, with equality-friendly names, that's not going to fix society's problems. It's a look at why some of our kids in left-behind communities are being left behind. Why are the likes of London and the South East charging ahead of the likes of the North East? What is it that's going to bring about meaningful change as opposed to meaningless division? Truss is also, let's not forget, a fierce advocate of women's sex-based rights, and in challenging those who seek to render the term woman completely meaningless through self-identification. Ultimately, folks, my view is that if sex doesn't exist, then same-sex attraction doesn't exist either, and it's dangerous. It's a dangerous nonsense. And she was brave to say so, to stand up and say, well, Theresa May, let's not forget, backed all of this stuff, to stand up and say, of course, boosting mental health treatment and access to gender identity clinics for those genuinely experiencing gender dysphoria is important, as opposed to virtue signalling through pronouns and all that sort of thing. But we must not let children get put on generally irreversible hormone treatments and puberty blockers, and actually allow women's sex-based rights render the term woman and the term male, the term gay even, completely meaningless. And she recognised that and she stood strong. All in all, I reckon, folks, it's not hard to see why Liz is so intensely popular. She's speaking up for Britain at a time when we're about to launch into our post-Brexit reality, with all of the excitement and the opportunity that brings for all four constituent parts of the United Kingdom. And she's rejecting the arguments and baseless ideas and smears of those who don't wish our country or its people well, seeking to divide us through modernist philosophy and put societal power structures and labels ahead of individuals and their endeavours. So she's got the zeal of a convert, she's our Brexit Boudicca, our Joan of Arc of the culture wars. And let's hope the rest of the UK government, with its 80-seat majority, takes heart in just how popular Liz Truss's ideas and values are. In Liz, we trust. We have found the antidote to much of the madness we've gone through this year. May she go on and on and on. I'm Darren Grimes for Recent UK.